Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 3. So, we've gotten down quarter way through the course. And so, in today's video, the first part, I want to talk about types of measurement, which comes from chapter 5 of the textbook. Sometimes it can be just a little confusing to really understand the difference between interval, ordinal, ratio, and talk about that. And then for the second part of the video, chapter 7 talks about descriptive statistics. And I'm going to show you how to run those in SPSS. Now, for the exercises this week, just so that you know, you can hand calculate any of the the descriptive measures, mean, median, mode. It just is giving you lists of numbers. But I want to show you, so again, you can get comfortable using SPSS and running them on bigger data sets so that you don't have to do that. But to dive in, levels of, oh my gosh, total typo there. That should not say ration, it says ratio, but the textbook used the acronym NOIR. And so nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. And the idea is as you go down this, that level of measurement is going to give you more information. But one of the things, two things that I think to keep in mind are, one, I would say that interval is probably the most common when we're dealing with surveys and those things. Rarely are we going to use true ratio data, but sometimes we treat data in a certain way. So even though we might not truly know the differences, we assume those, and we do that so that we can run these statistical tests. So we'll start with nominal. So all nominal is a label or a classification, so it's words. So these are the questions that they ask you to check, like what is your gender? What state do you live in? What's your ethnicity? Here I did what's your favorite color? And this apparently, if you pick your favorite color, it tells you something about your personality. So this can be really key information because this is how we categorize things, or we want to know, like, what's your preferred fast food restaurant. Now the thing is, there's no numbers attached to those, so we can't run a descriptive. We can't say, what is the mean favorite color. We can run counts and say, this green right here that represents knowledge is the most frequently named with these numbers, right? So it gives us information, but we can't really run statistics on that. Now, the next level is ordinal data. And this is where we rank order things. But the key is there's not a defined distance between measures. So examples of this are like your year at school. So freshman, sophomore, junior. And you might say, well, we know like this, a sophomore is after that. But the idea is there's not a true like number difference. We just kind of know that. Rank order good to best. Like what is your favorite to your least favorite? The thing is, there's no definition. So this example here, we see these chili peppers from hot to hottest. Why this is considered ordinal is we have no way of knowing, is this truly 10 times hotter than this, right? Because it's kind of subjective. And so, again, this can give us information, but again, hard to get a mean. Now, interval is going to be the most common. Now, this is the most important part I want you to get. We have an assumed equal measure. So in reality, if I ask you a question about the efficacy of vaccines, I believe that a COVID vaccine will help curb the pandemic. And I ask you to, on a 5-point Likert scale, say strongly agree to strongly disagree. As we're analyzing that data, we are making the assumption that the difference between whether I disagree and strongly disagree is the same sort of emotional distance as between neutral and disagree. Now, obviously, that's not really something we can measure, but we treat data that way when we're not dealing with set numbers on a scale like in ratio in order to do the things that we're doing. And so agreement scales, Likert scales, the book talks about a couple different types of scales. So when you're working with a survey and you're not just getting that sort of categorical data, but you're saying, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you like this? The idea is that there's a distinct difference between 4 and 5 on that scale. And then so I was talking about ratio. Now this is the highest level of measurement and can give us the most information because there is a true zero, there is a true measure, right? So this here, you know, this idea of measurement. So speed, temperature, heart rate, income, if you give me your exact age, those are all true data points. And I can say, you know, their heart rate was double that heart rate. And I know that that's actually true. Okay. So to switch gears and talk about descriptive data, I am going to go into, so I've gone into Citrix. So hopefully everyone has been able to go into that. And I'm going to go into find, where's my SPSS? I believe that these are, oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to click on that and let that load up. Sorry, and please excuse my desktop. I know it's hideous. It's actually just a lot of screenshots that I take for showing people how to use things like this. Okay, so that is starting. And now it is loading and it has brought that up. So I have already used this survey data. So I'm going to open the file, the clean file that we had. Let me make this bigger and kind of move myself down here. So as you can see, these are all the categories. Now, one of the things that SPSS does is it has these little icons to tell you the level of measurement. So if you see this little, like it looks like circles and I believe a letter A, what is your age in years? Now, we had talked about that could be ratio. They're using it as nominal because they're calling it a category. So, and these are open-ended questions here, like we see question 10. So lots of different things. But one of the things that's nice is if you hover, why are you not letting me hover? I want to see the description. Oh, it let me do it for that. Okay. ID, demographics. Okay. So let's say I wanted to run descriptive statistics. So I wanted to know the mean, median, mode, the highest value, the lowest value, number of responses. So I'm going to go up here to analyze. And then down here you see descriptive statistics. And there are several things that you could do. We want just descriptives. So then I have to choose one of my variables. So I probably wouldn't want to choose what is my sex. I could get a frequency count, but I'm not going to get a mean, median, or mode. So I can scroll through. These talk about how important are, okay, I just put how important are the following issues in picking your major. And they are asking them to rank on a scale. So we have that interval level. Okay, so I say, okay. And what's going to happen is, okay, this is just, yes, okay. So this is giving me, get this little data, and I see N, that's how many responses, so we have 99. The minimum is a 1, maximum is 5, which makes sense. We're on a scale of 1 to 5. And this gave me the mean. So the average, that quality of the students in the major is a 3.3. Now the standard deviation tells me how that a large percentage of those responses are going to be within that far, either plus or minus. So we have a standard deviation of almost 1. So that means if you looked at the range of the most common, you're going to have between, let's say, 2.3 and 4.3-ish. Okay, so let's do another one. So you have analyze, go to descriptive statistics, go to descriptives. Let's see, do you follow? I believe this, I just want to show you. So this is, and if I want to get rid of it, I just click on it and go to the, or, so do you follow or monitor? I believe it's probably going to say social media. Now, notice this. This is why you cannot run descriptive. So this is, do you follow us on social media? Minimum 0, maximum 1. So yes or no, those are coded yes or no. So the mean is 0.2. That gives me no information. So another thing you can do, descriptives. Let's say I just wanted to do frequencies. So do you follow? Frequencies is only going to give you, yes, how well do you think? Okay, let's go to okay. This will give you a further breakdown. So for this, it will tell you how many specific people said. So how well do you think the following items describe getting a major? It is financially rewarding. So we have the number who said strongly disagree to strongly agree, tells you the percent breakdown. So this is just another way to look at that data. So I encourage you to go in and play around and do that. And then, like I said, for the exercises this week, really focus on understanding what the descriptive measures that we're looking at are, and then understanding the levels of